So, and I'm going to read some quotes here from a time in his life just before he left the faith. And we're going to talk about the reasons that some of the reasons that he gave, and whether those are good reasons or not. We could read a lot of quotes from him because he has a lot to say, but we need to limit ourselves to just a few things here. So let me read something from, this is from the Sojourner's website. This is from an article titled Questioning Faith After Purity Culture in Conversation with Joshua Harris. This was written in 2019 in July, so about 2 years ago.
And within, I think, 2 months, I believe, of that now legendary and infamous formal announcement of his apostasy.
Right, so his faith collapsed very shortly after this. Yes. Okay, so he says in here, the interviewer says, what was the initial turning point that led to some of the questions you had about the tenets of the book? And Joshua Harris says, I think some of the earliest moments for me happened about 6 to 7 years ago when I was still a pastor and I began to see ways in which the culture of our church was unhealthy. It was a time in which I think our pastoral team was just starting to recognize a lot of legalism and really unhealthy patterns. And we invited into our home different groups of members of the church and asked them to share some of their stories. And that was the first time that I started having that thought that my book ties into this sense of pressure that there's one way to do relationships. Do we want to pause there and talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. I think that I'll introduce my first primary source citation here and say that when he was, I spent some time watching what essentially amounted to the I Kissed Dating Goodbye, the video series. And what year was this? This was 2011, he said that it was first starting. So